Everyone's here.
Yes. Yes. Well, this is
Okay.
episode 14 on February the 14th. So I thought that was kind of special in its own
Yes.
way.
Yes. And let's start with cheering Chuck.
Cheers. Oh, my
Hey,
coffee's just in the kitchen there, but
wait. Before I start, grab your drink. Come
yes,
on,
yes, I'll be right
grab.
back. Don't move an inch.
Everyone, cheers. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone.
And here we are. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, love. Ah!
Oh, cheers, chin chin.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Teresa. Welcome to the 14th episode of Fresh Paradigms, where I will be chatting with small business owners who dared to create or adopt their business in COVID times. Today, we will be discovering the journey of Charlie, Charles, I call him Chuck,
You can call me Chuck. That's right.
owner of Lupinfield Cottage, an
That's right.
up-and-coming cottage rental business in Newfoundland, Labrador, Canada. So, friends, let us welcome Charlie, Charles. I call him Chuck, my friend. Yay!
Thank you, Teresa. And yes, we'll stick with Chuck because that's how you know me. We go back almost 20 years now. Unbelievable
I
that we have
know,
such
I
a
know.
journey together. Yeah,
So,
it's been amazing.
how are you doing?
I'm great. I am really, really great. I like to say that I am living my best life. It, it's unbelievable how things can just change in your life and you really never know why or what the reason is behind them, but you just learn to go with the flow and believe that there's a bigger presence, a bigger power out there that will guide you along. And I mean, that's sort of been
Well, I'm just so excited to share your story on your way to becoming a cottage rental entrepreneur.
yes, so exciting. Yeah.
Because I know you as a designer, interior designer. That's why I'm so excited. Oh my God, I can't believe Chuck, entrepreneur.
Yes, yes.
My
From an
goodness.
interior designer to all of a sudden taking on this new business risk, this new business venture, this new business journey of becoming a vacation home or cottage rental entrepreneur here in Newfoundland. It's
Okay, before
unbelievable.
we jump into that, Chuck,
Yes.
tell us a bit about yourself first so that people who's coming in will more or less know you.
My
Tell
goodness.
us
Wow, it
about.
sounds like we're like speed dating here on Valentine's Day. My goodness, let's get excited.
Hey, I got two hearts, one for you and one for me, and my husband is right behind me. Okay,
Oh, well, it's all right. We're all good there.
okay.
So yeah, so I mean, I've born and raised back in Ontario and moved throughout all Canadian provinces. It feels like I've lived a little bit of everywhere. Most recently in Quebec as well too, which was a fantastic place to live, and so on. Of course, we're talking before the pandemic era happened, and very, very exciting place to live. And all of a sudden, I mean, I found myself in a wonderful relationship, a wonderful environment where absolutely anything was possible. And I just continued with this journey and this adventure. And I've been living abroad, let's just say, for quite a bit. But really, Newfoundland's always been my home, if I can say that. I think it's fair to say that I think every time you and I, when we were colleagues, when I would go on vacation, you knew that I was off to Newfoundland for my vacation, even though they were more like workcations. But I mean, this is where my heart is, and for me to finally be able to realize my dreams and live my life out here has just been unbelievable. So, yeah.
So, so your journey is Toronto, Quebec. And then you went to Montreal too, right? Is
Yes, yeah,
and
yeah.
then finally you're home, New
This,
Finland.
this is
So,
it.
hey, what was the tipping point of your decision in becoming an entrepreneur?
Oh, I think that that's such a really good question. I mean, if I really think about what was in it for me is I've always had this entrepreneurial spirit about me, whether I was in work or whether doing different projects and so on. That entrepreneurial spirit was sort of a part of my family DNA. I come from 5 generations of entrepreneurs, so I mean that was something that was very special for me. I really, really came by it honestly and naturally. But I think when you talk about the tipping point, if you will, I think
Yes.
it was the fact that I underwent an incredible business transformation journey with my previous career that sort of created this sense of opportunity for me to realize that I have the potential to be an entrepreneur and do my own business ventures and take everything that I had learned and embrace it and just really really become my own boss, if you will. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow, that's so inspiring. Now, what inspired you to go into cottage rental business? I know you are a designer. I would think you'll go to the designing field as an entrepreneur, right?
Right, right, right. I mean, that would have been a natural fit just to be as an interior designer because that's what I'm trained and schooled and so on. And I have that passion for it. But what I found was really exciting was that there is such an amazing experience to be able to rent out a home, play bed and breakfast owner. And these are something that I thought were a little bit out of my comfort zone. And I thought, I like to push myself because doing something um, um, like this is something that wasn't a natural for me. And I like to challenge myself. So I ended up actually having my family's vacation home that's already existing here, which is the Pumpkin House in Twillingate.
Oh,
Yes, just actually literally up the road here from the Lupinfield Cottage. And uh, we had taken almost 12, 13, 14 years, time's just flying by now, restoring it to its former original grandeur and so on. It was quite a project that came upon it. And I mean, seeing that house sitting empty for so long, it really just tugged at my heartstrings a little bit there. And I thought, this isn't right. So a very dear friend of mine actually started something of doing an Airbnb. I thought, oh, that sounds very interesting. I mean, you can interact with different people from across the world, across the province, across the nation, whatever the case may be. And I thought Airbnb is fantastic. And so, with that being said, I joined on to the Airbnb bandwagon and started renting out the Pumpkin House and found that the business was really, really exciting, to say the least. It was something that just, there was something there. It's about meeting the people, it's about just getting comfortable and really opening your home to someone who is traveling and wants to know more about your neighborhood, your village, your town, your outport, which is, for me, Twillingate. And I mean, Twillingate, it's known as the iceberg capital of the world. So
wow.
we have a very, very industrious tourism industry that happens here as people flock in droves to see these mammoth icebergs just drifting in the bays and around the shores. And the thing is that Twillingate literally is an island, and we catch all of the icebergs in the spring runoff and cast off and so on. So it's amazing that there's been such draw for hundreds of years of icebergs coming here, and along with that, the tourists come.
Wow.
So that is sort of where I thought this is something very, very interesting for me to jump onto. And I love engaging with people. I love interacting with people, and to be able to share my home with people is just something that's so special and so personal, and yeah. Anyways, I'm rambling now, but
No, no, you're not. Someone is saying you're a good storyteller, very engaging. I'm just so excited to hear all your story. Oh my gosh. But anyway,
thank
so
you,
this is
thank
your
you.
second rental business. The
This
first
is
one was pumpkin,
yes,
and this is the second one, right?
that's right. So there's
What?
the Pumpkin House and there's Lupinfield Cottage, and together they become TwillingGateVacationHomes.com, which is
Oh,
going to
okay.
be launched, of course, at the end of the pandemic and so on. So, yeah,
Why?
something very exciting.
Why Lupinfield Cottage as the name of your second rental business? Why?
Mhm. It's a very good question. When I first purchased the property 3 years ago, she was pretty much slated for demolition. It had been abandoned for many, many years. The roof leaked. There was um, rot like you wouldn't believe. And I thought, this poor old home and the stories that it could have told, it's just sort of fallen to pieces here. And I thought it needs something to pick it back up. And then I started doing the history on the house, and I found out that there were two prominent families that lived here.
Oh,
There were the Earls that originally built the home, and there were the Bulgins that were the other family that lived in the house and built an addition to the house. So I felt it kind of not right to pick one name over the other and rather create a more of a neutral name. And I was just blown away by the amount of natural wildflowers, which we call lupins, growing all through the fields here. And I figured Lupinfield Cottage was just absolutely a perfect name for the home and the property. Hmm.
how old is the property?
So the house that was originally built in around 1896 to 1898. If you ask my mother, she'll tell you a different story about that, though. But I mean, she feels that it's a much earlier home than what it is. But we're talking around 120 years, give or take, of the age of this home. Mm.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Um,
Lupinfield Cottage, it's a it just seemed natural. Unfortunately, the sad thing, and I can tell you, one of my good friends, Tracy, she laughs at me. She said, "Charlie," she says, "Where did all the lupins go?" I said, "Well, I cut the grass." I mean, the grass was overgrown, and now, I tried to cut around the lupins and so on. I was trying to take care and so on, but of course, yeah.
you know what, Chuck? I find it fascinating is the experience you're getting in restoring this 120-year-old house as your second cottage rental business. What are the challenges you faced in the restoration?
Oh, that's interesting. Well, see, let's just talk about one thing: renovation and restoration. Two completely different animals. One's an apple, one's an orange. They both are delicious, but they
Uh-huh.
both have different qualities about them. What I've decided to venture on here is a restoration. And for me, restoration means restoring what was once, where a renovation is you can do whatever you wish as long as it's within your design criteria, your parameters, what have you. For me, I felt it was more important to restore this home as opposed to renovate it, because a lot of homes, century homes, character homes, historic properties, are often senselessly renovated, and it just angers me. That's a whole other topic for another time. But um, I mean, these houses have stood the test of time, and a lot of good things have occurred within the walls. And I mean, to just senselessly strip it down and take away all this beautiful old wood, why would you do that just to cover it up with drywall? So one of the biggest challenges that I've experienced with this restoration is that everything takes time.
And cash?
And cash. And cash. I mean, if we're being so bold and so honest, yes, it's a very expensive process. Restoration is in a lot of senses, a lot more costly than something of a renovation. You know, where you don't have to take the time to mill up trim work that replicates what was originally once there. You can just go to Home Hardware, Home Depot, and just take the MDF molding and slap it on the wall and call it complete. Something like that is something that I've realized with a restoration. There's a lot of involvement in making sure that what you're doing is correct for the time period that the house is built. Yeah.
So how do you get your supplies?
Well, I am kind of a purist when it comes to restoration art. So I take everything from the natural sawmill here, for example, if we're talking about trim work, and I'll get the locally sawed lumber, and then I'll create the molding profiles that I wish, and so on, and reproduce it off of something that I've seen in the house, or I'll basically take examples of what I've seen done in other period properties to be able to correctly reproduce it. And getting the materials, such as raw materials, you know, it's fairly easy in that sense. But then there's other elements of for example, period lighting, which for me is a huge passion. Lighting is one of the things I love. And you can't just go throwing up a cheap $9.99 light fixture in a heritage property. That's just a
That would be a shame.
That would be a shame. But, you know, I do appreciate the people that, you know, say, I'll put it up there for now, and we'll get, when we find the perfect light fixture, we'll replace it, or what have you. So yes, so that's one of the biggest challenges with restoration, is that everything takes time, everything takes money, and it takes time to source the correct things. For example, things such as hinges that you wouldn't normally think about on a door that might not have been there. You know, you have to find the correct one. Yeah. There's lots of questions I'm seeing popping up here.
Yeah,
I'm just sort of rambling away again, but
it's someone is asking, what's the most memorable experience in your restoration?
Ooh, what's the most memorable experience in my restoration? Well, that would have to be, I would say, it would be at the tail end of when I was doing the exterior restoration in phase 1. I was putting in a beautiful little garden pathway, and I was digging away, and all of a sudden I noticed something in the ground, and I wasn't exactly sure what it was, but actually I even have it here. I'm so excited because I thought we might be talking about it today. So this is not it, but this is what it would have been, which is a pocket watch. And
wow,
this is what I've actually found. And of course, it's neat. Oh, that's kind of interesting. It's really needing some restoration, but it's dated on the back, 1888, and it was completely in the ground, and all the movements and so on are still inside.
really?
A fantastic piece that, you know, this would have been something that some gentleman would have treasured and carried it inside of his pocket, his vest, and so on. And perhaps he lost it in a snowstorm, or, you know, something happened, but he must have been so sad when he lost this, because perhaps it was a wedding gift. Perhaps it was, you know, his father's, or something. I wish that something like this could actually tell the story behind it, of how it ended up almost 8 inches underground. But again, you can sort of see how it would have. This is actually my great grandfather's, and that's yeah. So that would definitely be one of the most memorable.
You're saving everything, the bits and pieces that you found on the ground? You have your memorabilia?
I save everything. A lot of people call me crazy. There's actually a fantastic guy who's doing some really amazing work on a house out in Burgess, who's been documenting everything that he's been finding. And I mean, that's the type of stuff that really, really is the heart and soul of a house. When you find something inside the house, and it's a treasure. And so, yeah, I've got a little collection, actually a big collection, I'm not gonna lie, a big collection of pieces that I've found and so on. Even things such as signatures on walls that are sort of telling stories and so on. I mean, that's amazing when you find that. Yeah.
Do you have a team?
Do I have a team?
Yes.
I wish. I'm a one-man show with my mother. She helps me out quite a bit. And I do have some really, really fantastic friends. You guys know who you are, who help me out from time to time when I do need an extra set of hands. I do have a qualified electrician and plumber that are some of the people that are part of my team. But I'm always recruiting, of course. Right now with COVID, it's challenging. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Mom and to the rest of the CloseKnit team you have there.
Yes, yeah, and there, and you know, a lot of people here on Instagram and so on that are following along this adventure and journey that I'm on. You know, just a little simple, hey, wow, that's cool, that's so exciting. I mean, that's part of my team. These people are just amazing, and simple things like that really make it
Wow.
worth my while. Yeah.
What pushed you to go moving despite the pandemic that we are in? What keep you moving?
Um, I mean, I made a commitment to myself that I was going to
When did
start
you
this
start?
business.
Sorry, when did you start this restoration?
So I started this restoration technically 1 year ago. I'm now into the 14th. Well, actually, when I bought the house, the first day I started the restoration. I mean, a lot of the old stuff had to go away. That was shag carpet and so on. But I started really 3 years ago. But technically, I started this restoration last year at the beginning of all of this. When the world just started to slowly go into lockdown across the world. So I'm in my 15th month, I'd like to say, of the restoration. It took me pretty much an entire spring, summer, and fall to get the exterior done. And now I've started working on the interior, which is amazing. So yeah, I'm going off your question here, but yeah, if I think about what pushes me, even though we're in a pandemic, I mean, I'm goal driven. I'm really passionate about what I do. I love the fact that, you know, I think the one thing what's really important for me to say out there is that a pandemic has a beginning, it has a middle, and it has an end. And we will arrive at the end of this pandemic. And when we're at the end of the pandemic, I'm going to have something great that will be able to welcome people. And something very special will happen at that point. So, I mean, in the back of my mind, I know that this pandemic is not forever. It's going to eventually cease, and everyone, you know, will resume a new normal. So, yeah.
Does restored home means all vintage fixture slash furnitures?
100%, my friend. I mean, actually, let's say 98% for me. I like to always throw in a little bit of new just to mix it up a little bit. I do say I'm a purist, but I mean, I do like to have a little bit of new things and so on. Yeah, but yeah.
Now we are on the portion of show and tell.
Oh boy.
This is exciting.
Are you ready for this? Oh my gosh.
I'm always ready.
I know you are, Teresa. From the day I met you, yeah, you've been ready to go. Um, well, how do we want to do this?
Where are we doing what space first? What are you showing us?
Well,
It's
what
your,
I'm going
it's
to
your.
show you is I'm going to show you 3 common spaces that have now been, for the majority, restored in my own aspects. They're not finished, but I mean, they look pretty decent and they look pretty welcoming, and it gives you a little taste of what's to come. So, with that being said, let's start the tour. What I will do
Yay!
is I'm going to turn this camera around. And I'm going to say, welcome to the kitchen. This is where basically, if I go stepping back, I just don't want to go too fast. This was an original room that was quite well used and quite well loved. And it was actually an addition to the house built in around 1920s. So what you're seeing here today is actually colors and so on that I found. And if I just do a quick little color chart here, these were the original colors that I found in the home. So I actually had them color matched to make sure that they were original and so on. So you can see that some of the colors and so on that I've worked with in here have been brought back. However, there are some things that are newer features, such as what you're seeing in the doorway there that's been blocked up and created into a bookcase. That was a 1960s change that had happened, and I didn't have the heart to completely take it out. So find a fault, let's make it a feature. So yes. And then in here, with all that bright sunlight that we have, is what I would call a butler's pantry. You probably have heard the term before. It's actually the kitchen, and very small. And really where all the cooking happened was actually on the wood cook stove.
Oh.
This is a reproduction. It doesn't look anything like an original one. It's kind of similar for the most part, but I mean, it's got the vibe of what I was looking for, with also the heat performance. That is kind of neat. So then if you want to go in and we take a look at the living room, this is one of the newest room. And for a lot of people who follow me on Instagram, this is the first time you're actually getting to see this space completed and sort of put together as what it will look like before I dismantle it again and continue on with the restoration. So this is the very cozy living room. What's really neat is that the chairs are actually original to the home from the 1940s.
You got the chairs? That's original?
They are original, yeah. There was some furnishings that were found in the home and so on. So I kept as much as I could if it was period appropriate for what I'm going for. Some treasure maps there on the wall. And a lot of the pieces that are inside the cabinet there are treasure pieces that
you found,
that I found. Yes. So yeah, so very comfortable. As we look outside the front window here, you can see it's a very wintry day in Newfoundland. This building that's right in front of us here was actually the original stable for the sheep and livestock that they had on the property. Today the tide is out. We've had some very high tides, which has brought in a lot of wharf material and so on. And then there's another building that is a part of the property as well over here, which is my workshop. Yeah, so that's kind of a little bit of the tour of here, but as you see, the space sort of comes together. And it's got a very warm vibe. And
is that where the icebergs flow?
Right behind me.
Right in front of your house?
Literally, actually, there was an iceberg just parked up here. We called it Brian. We give them all names and so on. They're amazing, and when you see them, they're just unbelievable. Yeah, they sort of get caught in the breakwater that's here, so something, yeah, really special to see. So, yeah. Okay, we'll continue on this tour. This is the hallway where guests would have originally arrived in, and it was a very formal front door that was on here. This is the original front door. And now it's turned into a very, very comfortable hallway with a lot of the original features put back in and a lot of special pieces. Don't mind this ugly, hideous gold carpet. It's actually preserving, ta-da, this amazing, it's actually dated 1907 linoleum. So yeah, it's kind of exciting. That's hiding underneath all that. We'll do a quick little tour on to phase 3 of what's happening. And this is sort of where I'm taking the house to, which is a completely different level. You can see that flooring was repeated up here again because it was a secondary space. I didn't really care so much. But this is the upstairs hallway. And this is where I'm working on now, which is going to be raising the roof. Because if you will, I'll just do a little flip around here. Ow. Oh, ow. Yeah. Ceiling heights here.
Yes.
So there's some work that needs to be done on literally raising the roof. And I'm really not a tall guy. I'm only about maybe 5'8", 5'9", and I'm hitting my head. So what will happen in the next stage is we will be retrussing, and I'll be taking out the roof to the upper level. That doesn't really work up there, but yeah.
How many rooms do you have?
So in total, I'll flip the camera around again. There's one bedroom here, another bedroom on the front. There's another bedroom here, and this will become a bathroom. And then downstairs on the first floor will be a 4th bedroom. So 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and very, very, very interesting layout. As in each room, there's a closet. But what's really interesting about these closets is that they go through into another bedroom.
Oh, a pass-through.
It's kind of a pass-through, yes. Which is really interesting. And a little last thing that I'll show you as my little fun little show and tell. Underneath the floor, I found where they hid their money. Yes, I did.
Wow.
So,
did you find some money?
If you can give me the code to the cash box, we'll get it open.
Okay.
But, they hid their money inside the houses, literally here in Newfoundland. So, very exciting.
Wow.
Yeah. So as I step down, I feel like a giant in this house. I can see. So yeah. So of course, I'd love to do a follow-up with you once phase 3
yes, of course.
is done
Hey.
at Lupinfield Cottage. And
so much history. We cannot do it in one shot.
no,
There should be another part 2.
Well, I welcome it anytime. You just let me know.
Chuck, for those interested in Lupinfield Cottage, how can they contact you?
At this point, contact me through Instagram, of course. That's one channel that's always working. Otherwise, you can reach me at charlie@pumpkinhouse.ca. That's my email address. Really simple. You can also find the Pumpkin House is also on Instagram. Yeah, I'll make sure that all of my contact information is kept up to date and current through this pandemic and so on. But if there was
random question, I got a random question.
Yeah.
Since we had the tour,
yes,
even though it's just partial, what song best describe Lupinfield Cottage?
What song? Oh my gosh. You know, I think I have a favorite list, but I think at this point right now it's Heather Small and What Have You Done Today to Make You Feel Proud? And I mean, putting history together makes me feel proud.
Yes. What have you done today to make you feel prouder?
Oh, yes, that's right. That's right. Wow.
Did you work today? Today's Sunday.
Yes, I actually work 7 days a week. Yeah, I'm pretty much 14-hour days. I don't give up. I like to just keep on going. Of course, we can't socialize. Right now, here in Newfoundland, we're under a bit of a situation with an outbreak of the UK variant going across the
Yes.
province. So we're on stage 5 of lockdown, which just started yesterday. So I'll just keep on working on my house. And I mean, I've got some really fantastic neighbors, some really great, fantastic friends in this community that will just drive by and literally beep on their horn, lay on their horn until I get off my sanders or get off my tools and I go out and say, what's going on? And wave through the windows and just say hi, have a socially distanced hello.
Okay, to wrap up this,
Yes, yes.
what advice, I always ask this, what advice can you give to those who are dreaming of starting a business at this time?
My advice at this point is don't give up on your dream. Your dreams come from your heart and come from a good place. But with that being said, make sure that you know the risks that are involved with starting a business during a pandemic. Know that you're in it for the long haul with any business that is going to start. And make sure that you have a business plan that is fault proof. And what I mean by something that's fault proof is something that you can always have a plan B to go to if plan A doesn't work out. Make sure that you're prepared for risks and accept the fact that there might be bumps in the road, whether we're in a pandemic or not, but follow your dreams. Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Oh,
Charlie, for sharing your journey in creating Lupinfield Cottage.
oh,
Thank you so much.
been such a great pleasure. And happy Valentine's Day to you, to everyone that's been following along.
But
And
you know what? I always get something for my guests, but I couldn't find any lupins. So here's a virtual bouquet for you.
me, oh my gosh, wow, you're spoiling me rotten. You're gonna make me cry.
I tried to find lupins.
Oh, wow. So
I can't
simple.
find lupins. They said it's summer. It's not summer here.
Little out of season. Actually, lupins are tough flowers because as soon as you cut them, they start wilting. Yeah, but I mean, the roses are so beautiful. Teresa, thank you.
These are your virtual Happy Valentine's Day.
And a happy Valentine's
And
Day
of
to you.
course, thanks everyone for sharing your time with us.
Yes.
Stay tuned on another discovery of small business in COVID times. Yes, let's
Yes.
support small business.
Oh, absolutely. And keep on this amazing journey. Great job, Teresa. You're doing a fresh job with your paradigms.
Thank you. So stay safe, take care, and bye for now. See you,
Bye.
Chuck.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you. Bye.